Hello everybody and welcome to the 11th video in my 30-day video challenge. In this video I'm going to talk about animation and specifically animation within Blender. Now it's the very basics. All we're going to be doing is making the cube roll around on the floor. So let's get into Blender. We have a cube already. Now the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to doing animations, all of it is done in your timeline. So let's bring this up a little bit so we can see it. Your timeline is set up into frames. So frame 1 and default is 250. I'm going to actually drop this down and I'm only going to do 160 frames. You can just type that in there just to make it quicker. So 160 frames, and the way you can kind of think of these is like a flip book. Frame 1 is page 1 of your flip book. Draw your item, or draw your object, draw your picture, frame 1, and that's where you start. So we're going to go into the 3D view, and the shortcut key is pressing I. I brings up your keyframe menu. Your keyframes are the information you want stored on that frame. So your location, your rotation, your scaling. You can pretty much keyframe anything you want within Blender and create an animation with it. I do it in my video editing to scale up the volume or scale down the volume to have it roll off and get quieter, things like that. But the keyframes are what saves that information. So right now we want to save the location, the rotation, and the scale of our cube on frame 1. So hit the I, select location, rotation, and scale, and click on it. Now there are other ways to get to those options. You can come over here to the animations tab. You have your insert keyframes and things here. The shortcut key with I, it's just easier for me. Now, what you want to do next is figure out point A to point B and on what frame you want to do that in. And that also has a lot to do with like how many frames per second you're going to be doing your animation and how you line things up. In this particular one, I've already worked out some of the little specs on it. So I'm going to go to frame 40. And then I'm going to come back up into my 3D view. I'm going to grab my cube. I'm going to move it along the Y, 4 spaces, press enter. And then I'm going to rotate on the X axis by -180. Now, for some reason, -180 is a forward roll when it comes along the Y axis. Now, once you have your set with what you want your cube to do, just press I and insert your location, rotation, and scale. Now all you need is point A to point B, and Blender kind of fills in the rest for you. So if you were to scrub back through from point A to point B, it automatically fills in everything in between. So that's all we need to know. So if you do those out of order, say I went and say in my next frame I'm going to go from 40 to 80. If I don't click on the frame first, and say I went straight in my 3D view, and then I moved all my information, clicked enter, did my rotation, and then I clicked on the frame down here, it's not going to remember anything, because nothing was saved. The last thing it remembers in the timeline is the last keyframe you did. So make sure you select your frame first, so you don't kind of run into those little frustrations. So we're going to select frame 80, we'll go back into 3D view, we're going to grab the cube and we're moving it. We're going to rotate it, and now this one rotates without the negative. So 180, hit enter, and then we can hit the I key, insert rotation, location, and scale, and then we can scrub back through and you can see the cube moves. Now let me go through and finish this off, and I'm going to bring it all the way back to the beginning by doing the exact same thing. Grab Y, -4, rotate X, 180, enter, I, location, rotation, and scale. I'm going to frame 160, grab X, -4, rotate Y, -180, enter, I, location, rotation, and scale. And now when I hit play, the cube's going to roll around on the floor. That's the basics of animation within Blender. You select point A, point B, and what you want your object to do, whether you're going to rotate it, you're going to scale it, you can move it, you can slide it. Now when it comes to actual character animation, there's a lot more advanced stuff involved when it comes to rigging the skeleton and all of that stuff. But for the basics of just moving an object around, it's all within your keyframes, and all you have to know is point A to point B. And you can do this manually as well. You don't have to go through and know the exact numbers like I went through and figured out. Like, say if I just wanted to take this animation right here at the end, and instead of having it just start over again, let me scale this up. We're going to go to frame 200. No, yeah, 200. And I'm just going to have the cube bounce in the air, right? So let's set the end frame to 200. And then just drag the cube up. And then I can actually just rotate it by manual. Just rotate it however I want to. And then insert my rotation, location, and scale. That puts my keyframes in there, and now when I hit play, the cube's going to roll around on the floor and then jump in the air. Whoop! Nothing to it. So thanks for watching this video. That's the bare basics, and I'll do more videos when it comes to a couple of the more advanced things when it comes to rigging and things like that. But for now, I just wanted to get some of the basics out there, do a quick little video, and let y'all get your hands wet. You can do this with any object. And you can select more than just rotation, location, and scale. You can do whatever you want to with it. Have fun. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.